if you do quarter per quarter, you will have like the same result as I said, because the net in total is going to be the same. And also, what I compared about, like, if you look at this chart here, this return just shows as if you invested in the first month up to a year from there, you would make about $600, which is a 10% gain. This is more important, the 10%, not the dollars, because that can change the amount of money you invest in, right? And I think if you're investing one time a year, you're going to invest a lot more than just $6,000. Invest a lot more. Remember, because the 40% rule. If you're making $100,000, you're going to put $40,000, right? But the percentage return is going to be the same. But look at the percentage return of dollar cost averaging, right? And this is what's so effective too. The other thing too that many people don't understand is like, okay, but if I would have bought here when it was low, I would have had a higher return than dollar cost averaging. Yeah, but you can never predict the bottom. You can never predict the bottom. And I don't want you to do this way, because you're not going to predict the bottom. No one can predict the bottom. Because look at the probabilities that we saw. The market moves independent from anything. It doesn't care. John F. Kennedy died and the market went up. Would you really buy there? Like, what were the chances of that happening? When the Cuban Missile Crisis was sent, the market went up, right? And then at some times, when gold inflows, or some other cases I remember I saw, like when it was actually a bad scenario, it actually came down. So you see, it's very random. That's why I never recommend to just buy at once, especially if you don't know what you're doing. But just buying at once, I recommend most of all just dollar cost average, because it's the most safe thing that you can do. One, because you're getting a higher return than just predicting the bottom, because you're never going to predict the bottom. And two, it's a 99% chance that you won't have your portfolio in the next year negative, or at least in the next 3 years. Because in the next year, maybe the market can go down 50% and your account would be negative. So I would say a safe year would be probably the next 5 years. It's very hard for your performance in dollar cost averaging to go below zero. I think I've already explained, the more that you invest, the better, right? You saw the effect there and what it's needed to make millions of dollars, right? And that principle that I told you, with that principle, it doesn't matter whether you make $1 million, you now can make anything you want now. And that's the power of it. That's literally what's called think and grow rich, because it literally is like that. There's no other way. It's only think and grow rich. How do you think Elon Musk made a lot of money? First of all, he wasn't even thinking about the money. He just made something so valuable in what he knew and what he loved to do that the value went over the board, because he thought of all the concepts there and he removed a lot of bureaucracy. He said no to a lot of things, and that's why Elon Musk is the way how he is, the way how he does things. That's why he's one of the wealthiest people in the world. Same thing as Jeff Bezos, because the way how they do things, their mentality. It's not the way that they made money. No. It's the way how they do things. That's very valuable, because now if you're able to do that and you can make $1 million, you already see that. I already showed you that you can have $4.2 billion in 90 years, 92 years. The more money you invest, look, $10 million, right? 4 million of that, you would have $42 billion. You would be a billionaire. You would be one of the wealthiest people in the world. You'd be like the top maybe 50 wealthiest people in the world. Mark Zuckerberg is actually worth 42 billion, I think. So think about that. You have the same net worth as Mark Zuckerberg, and you were just in the S&P 500, and he built this incredible company. Now, this is why I keep saying Mark Zuckerberg, for example, he is obviously very wealthy. He's very wealthy, right? But he would have been more wealthier if he took seriously his business, like in terms of investing his own money. If he would have done the same thing as Jeff Bezos did, or Bill Gates, to do it early on when the company was starting, because I think Mark Zuckerberg did it late on, because why would his net worth would have been much more than that? Yeah, because Metaverse is worth a lot. Like he definitely should be. Well, what stake does he have? Just want to see, because I want to show you an example, because it really is interesting. Like, listen, the index, the S&P 500 is so underrated. Why? Because many people don't want you to invest in the index, because they won't make money if you do. It's obvious. Look, your brokers would starve to death if you only invest into the S&P 500, because you're not buying 20 things at once, right? So you're not paying more commissions, right? And you're not going to listen to much people, because you're just buying the S&P 500. Just like literally buy that. So it would be a disadvantage for every business in Wall Street if you invested in the S&P 500. And that's why there's this stigma that they don't talk about much about the S&P 500, just because they know that you will make more money doing that and they will make less. So it's a business. And this is the real world, guys. That's why you can't listen to everyone. You have to really do your due diligence. And that's why smart people die in finance, because it's not about being smart. It's about knowing things you don't know and just looking at the facts. And that's why I stay away from even egotistical people. Seriously, ego is a terrible thing to have, because it can literally make you lose all your money if you have an ego, if you have a high ego. But at any rate, you will make $42 billion if you have 10 million from 4 million in 92 years and you have the same net worth as Mark Zuckerberg from the index, from which is basically the economy, right? You would do, this is why I'm saying that you would outbeat everyone. That's a huge gain on your investment. It's a huge gain. So yeah, that's amazing. And again, that's why I'm saying the more money even that you can invest, the better. Because think about it, if you're making 100 million, now that goes, to that other level, but still, I do believe, and you have to believe that you will make $100 million. You will, if you believe it. You will make $1 billion. You will, if you believe it. Anything is possible, but you have to believe it. You really do. At first, you might not believe it, but that's normal. But that's why you have to do repetition. That's what Napoleon Hill did. Listen, Napoleon Hill, if you guys remember, Andrew Carnegie told him, listen, Napoleon, I want you to do a practice every day. You're going to look to yourself in the mirror and you're going to say, Andrew Carnegie, I'm not going to only be as successful and as prosperous as you are, but I'm going to pass you at the grandstand. He told him that. And then Napoleon flipped his penny and says, well, I'm not, I don't even like to say that. Well, I'm not going to, he said this. Well, yeah, he said that. Andrew Carnegie said, well, yeah, I know you're not, because not until you believe that you are. And Napoleon stood there with curiosity, and he did it. He actually did do it. The next day, he kept doing it. He didn't believe it. He locked himself in a bathroom so his brother won't hear him, because his brother thought he was crazy. So he kept saying this, but a week, he wasn't believing as much. In 2 weeks, he started to get a little bit more believance. 3 weeks, he started to believe, okay, he can see the possibilities that he can. In a month, he saw that he can. In a month and a half, he saw that he definitely can. And then 2 months, he knew that he absolutely could. Right? And he did. He did surpass him. Because if you look back, Andrew Carnegie made about 30 millionaires. Somewhere around there. 30 millionaires. And Napoleon Hill has made millions of millionaires. So he did pass him. He destroyed him. So you see, that's why it's so important what you believe in. Because this is why, and this is so beautiful. Not everyone's going to get it, because I think, that's the funny thing, when you get into this, you kind of try to, I remember I did that once. I tried to get my other friends, but not everyone's going to hop on the car with you because they don't see the same value. But that's the point. You have to stake with yourself. You have to believe in what you do. You have to ignore other people, and they don't want to ride with you. They're not bad people, but you have to keep away from them. You have to stay focused on what you're doing. I had 90% of my friends I kept away from. I'm only friends with one person that I've been for years, and we both have the exact same mindset. Because I somewhat influenced him after 2 years. He thought it was very surprising, and in some way, we both sort of admired each other in before, so it was easier with my other friend. But the rest of my friends, no, I don't talk to them. I don't want to talk to them. I don't. They're in their own things. I don't even care, to be honest. I love what I'm doing. I will not trade for anyone else. If you want to be friends with me, I'll be friends with anyone. I don't discriminate. I don't discriminate gender. I don't discriminate what you believe in. I don't care. You can believe in anything you want to. You can believe in anything you want to. I don't care. Whatever you believe, I'll be like, all right, that's cool. That's pretty cool. If you're a pessimistic person, you don't believe in yourself as much, I'm not going to believe in you as well, because you don't believe in yourself. In order to become friends with me, you have to believe in yourself first. All right. So that's the end of it. We're going to leave it there. In the next video, we only talked about dollar cost averaging, and net in total, we already talked about buying once. So you guys can see that you guys will buy at once and you can do it. Now, in the next video, in the next lesson, I'm going to talk about this is now the end of dollar cost averaging. I think you guys took the point of it. In the other lessons, of course, I'll talk about what brokers and how to invest, exactly what platforms, the more technical stuff that's a lot more simpler. Anyone can do. But in the next video, we'll talk about, in the next lesson, we'll talk about how to invest per year, if you want to do it per year, by technical analysis, right? So I only advise you to do this if you're well, or if you understand very well from what you've learned in Selaction of technical analysis. If you don't find it as simple, then I just really look, the best thing you should do is dollar cost averaging, because you saw $1 million, 40%, you're going to have $4.2 billion in 90 years, and 10 million, 42 billion. So really there's no, dollar cost averaging is definitely the best way. I would say one of the best ways, but you could probably make a little bit more, but to be honest, not much of a difference. I mean, 4 billion to maybe 6 billion, there is a difference, but it'd be worse to still get any of them. 6 billion, you could get with this is not for sure, but you will definitely get the 4 billion probably. So we'll talk about that in the next lesson, how to do more technical analysis that you can buy wherever the market is, but you will buy more when the market comes down. And when the market comes down more, you buy even more, and how you can construct your investment funds with it and manage it further on. Right? And what probabilities, what expectations you should look for return, and all those sort of things. I believe this is one of the ways. That's the other way. And that's pretty much it, because there's not much science to an index investing, neither investing in general. Investing is actually very simple. That's why people don't do well in investing, because of how simple it is. Because a lot of people like to complicate it on math and on intelligence, on all these metrics that don't make the business valuable. Because remember, the business is all psychology. About mentality of understanding has nothing to do about numbers. Numbers is to see whether it's valued, whether it's undervalued. But not even that. It's like it's the undervalue is the opportunity cost. That's why look, the 90% of what's going to make you successful in investing is not knowing exact techniques with numbers or none of this stuff. It's actually knowing the psychology and intuition. In the psychology part the most. Yeah, that's the end of this lesson. We'll talk about in the next one.